Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna and this is Anna's Books and Stitches, and we mainly talk about cross stitch here. I'll also sometimes talk about books or other crafty projects that I'm working on or whatever else comes across my little ADHD brain while I'm filming a video. So it's been 3 weeks since I filmed. I tried to film last weekend, but my phone decided to be dumb. So I was like, screw it, and I ordered a camera, and that camera was trash. So I had to send it back and order a new camera. This camera, obviously, is much higher quality than the trash one, just because obviously you can see me and it's not blurry and the lighting's good. We're also not really in a new location. I'm still up in my craft room, but I'm on the opposite side of the room. I don't know why I didn't think to do this before, because the lighting on this side of the room, from the way that the window is angled, is a million times better than on the other side. So we got better lighting, we got a nice new camera, and we are ready to go. I don't really have anything super like profound to say right now. I have something I want to talk about at the end. Two things really. One thing I'll touch on as I'm going through my stuff, and the other thing is a kind of just some bodybuilding updates and what I think I'm going to do with that for anybody that's interested. But we're kind of just going to go right into new starts. So the way I like to run it is I do new starts, whips, which are work in progress, and then finishes, and then fully finishes, and then plans and acquisitions, and then I'll kind of just snowball into whatever else I have to talk about. So I'm going to start with starts. My first, most recent new start is something I have been meaning to work on for ages. It's for one of my friends that lives in Germany. I saw the pattern and was immediately like, I need to buy this and make it for her because it's so us, as my daughter would say. And it's called Bitch, I Love You. And this is what the pattern looks like. I did a complete floss conversion. I'm doing it entirely in a toile, DMC a toile, except for the yellow centers of the flowers. Those are just going to be a normal DMC. But the rest of it is in a toile. So this is what I have so far. I'm really liking the colors. They're very jewel tones, and I don't know if you can tell that it's sparkly, but it's super sparkly. And so it's, as the pattern you saw, it's going to say bitch in big bold letters right here, and then underneath it it's going to be what's it called, backstitched. It's going to say I love you. And I'm really excited to send it to her. I miss her a lot. She is one of the best friends I made the entire time I was a military spouse, and I miss her a lot. So I feel like that'll be a good one to send her, to kind of remind her of me and of our relationship and kind of how much she still means to me. The next one is called Light My Way by Grandma B. Wilden. And I really like this pattern because it kind of is a good reminder it's important to walk your own path, that sometimes you need to burn bridges. Sometimes you need those bridges that you're burning in those relationships that are toxic or that no longer serve you or that are detrimental to your mental health and all of that. Those burnt bridges will light your way and guide you to better, healthier places. So this is what it looks like. This is what it'll look like when it's done. Like I said, it's by Grandma B. Wilden. And I did dye my own Ada. I'll show you the whole big piece that I dyed later on, but this is a piece of black 18 count Ada that I dyed. And that's what I've got so far. Just some of the water, but it is on self-dyed Ada. Need to get something to put behind this, but whatever. And there's my little, I felt like the dumpster fire needle minder by the Arcane Arcanist was very, very appropriate. But I'm really excited. And I like that it's going to be small because I can get a cute little frame and put it up on my wall. But yeah. I've actually had this pattern in my stash for ages and I just have never started it. And finally I was like, you know what? I want to start this pattern. So I'm going to dye my Ada black that I've been meaning to dye for ages. And I started it. Because sometimes that's just the way it goes. Those ADHD urges, man, I tell you, I've learned over my life that when you're wanting, there's something you've wanted to do for a while and you have ADHD, so you just haven't done it yet. For whatever reason, maybe it's task paralysis, maybe it's just you keep forgetting about it or whatever else. When you get that strong urge to do that thing, just do it because you'll be able to knock it out, hyper focus on it until it's done, and it'll make your life way easier than waiting around and being like, I have all these other things that I should be doing, but I really want to do this other thing because then nothing gets done. And those things you should be doing don't get done because you're like, oh, I don't want to do those things. I want to do this other thing. And the thing you want to do doesn't get done because you should be doing other things. So you might as well just do the thing you want to do, get it out, knock it out of the way, and then you can more easily focus on the things that you should be doing. Little hot tip. But the next one I started is Nevermore by Lila's Studio. I really, really like this pattern a lot. And I bought it from Abby Top Knot Stitcher from her shop. And this is what the pattern looks like. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. And I really do love it. But when I got the pattern, I realized there was several flosses that I just branded. Several flosses from a brand I don't use anymore. And so I was like, well, crap, now I gotta do a floss conversion because I didn't want to do just the DMC because I thought the overdye looked so pretty. So I was like, well, what am I gonna do? And then I was perusing Forbidden Fiber Co.'s website, like I do on a regular basis because their overdye floss is my absolute favorite. And I saw that they had, she'd already done a conversion. She was selling a floss pack for it, and I was like, yep, easy, take my money. And then I still didn't know what fabric I was going to use, and then I got one of my fabric of the months. I don't even remember what month it was, a couple months ago. And it was from Be Stitch Me, and it was Ledger. And it, like, the blues and the yellow is almost exactly like the picture. So, this is what I have so far. I mean, just look at these, the blues and the yellows, and how pretty that looks. It's gonna look so good when it's done. I absolutely cannot wait. And I'm really liking the repetitiveness of the design because it makes it easier to stitch because it's symmetrical. But here is the flosses. I mean, obviously there's a couple of repeats, but I love Forbidden Fiber Co., you guys. She's my favorite. Speaking of, I have something that I requested from her that I'm really, she said she'd do. So when it's done and I get it, I'll show it to you guys and it's going to be fantastic. But look at those colors. It's going to be great. I'm super excited. Yeah, so that is Nevermore by Lila Studio with the Forbidden Fiber Co. conversion on a 32 count Lugana in the colorway Ledger from Be Stitch Me. Those are all my new starts. I've kind of been, I feel focus on one thing for a while, and then I'll want to focus on something else for a while, and then I'll want to start something new for a while. So I've definitely got more to talk about this week than I did last time. The last couple of days, I haven't really been doing a whole lot of stitching. I've been doing other projects. But, yes. So the next project I am going to show you, I'm not even going to show you what it looked like last time because it was like one line of black stitching. So this is my Witches and Demons from Night Spirit Studios. And this is what it is going to look like when it's finished, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait. I can't remember if I'm doing this. Am I doing this in black DMC, or am I doing this in... I'm doing this in Anchor Black, not 310. So, not that it really makes a difference. Black is more or less black. But I'm doing it in Anchor Black, and I'm doing it 2/2. And this is on a 36 count Edinburgh linen. It's Picture This Plus in the colorway Ale. Last time I literally had a single row of black stitching. This time I've got like 2.5 rows of black stitching. I really need to focus on this and get more done. But I feel like what's going to end up happening is as we get more into fall, I'm going to want to do more like seasonal stitching. So a lot of these pieces will be coming back out with more vengeance, and they'll be getting more love. But I just haven't been, I love that piece and it's beautiful, but it just hasn't been kind of what I'm feeling right now. My next piece is Vanity Sampler, and this one was talked a lot about a while back because Cam the Stitcher did a goth conversion, which is the reason I bought the pattern. I mean, the pattern is beautiful, but the goth conversion makes it even more just outstanding. But here is the Vanity Sampler. It is by Hello from Liz Matthews. Can I get in there so you can see the whole thing? I just love what it says. It says, youth and vigor soon will flee, blooming beauty lose its charm. All that's mortal soon will be enclosed in death's cold arms. And I don't know, maybe it's something to do with the fact that I'm in my mid-30s or what, but I always kind of enjoy these quotes that say, your beauty's only going to last for so long. Because it kind of like, it's true, for one. And two, it's kind of reminding us all to like, you can only bank on a pretty face for so long. You need to like have a personality and be a good human being and not just expect the world to fall at your feet because you have a pretty face. Which there's nothing wrong with having a pretty face at all. Like, use that if you have it. I mean, really, use it all of your assets, shall we say. But just remember that that particular asset may not always be there. But I worked on this when I went down to my mom's a couple weeks ago. We stitched together for a little bit. And kind of decided to work on this. So here's where I left off last time. I didn't get to do a whole lot on this. I was stitching on other stuff while I was down there too, but here's where I'm at now. Give me it and hold on. I will also show you Cam's goth conversion here in a second too. Let me see if I can come. Not being difficult, you guys. It's being difficult. All right, there we go. Here is where I'm at now. So at my mom's, I really only did these, the vines and those berries. So not a whole lot. I did mess up and have to, I frogged and restitched and frogged and restitched and frogged and restitched like 4 or 5 times. And still couldn't find where the mistake was always still there. So finally I just said, fuck it. And just mimicked it on the other side. So I messed up, but it's symmetrical still. And in my mind, that kind of gives it more of that traditional like sampler feel, because when these girls were making these samplers, back when they were making them, their linen wasn't super consistent like we have today. And 2, they had to make do with what they had. So when they messed up, they kind of had to, 1, make it work because they didn't want to waste the floss, or 2, they were just learning. So mistakes were common. So having that mistake in there and me knowing it's in there and not really having people really be able to see it very well, unless I pointed it out to them, which honestly, I'm not even exactly sure where it is anymore, kind of gives it that same feel, which I kind of think is cool. Okie dokie. This is the floss conversion that Cam did. And let me just get this so it's not a hot train wreck of a mess. Okay. Here goes my thing. Look at these flosses, you guys. No, that's not gonna work. I can do this, I swear. I know what I'm doing. There we go. Aren't they pretty? It really seems like, oh, whatever. They're really pretty. They're all my favorites, mauves and purples and sages and browns, and it's a gorgeous conversion, and I really want to work on it more. I think I just lost a needle. I heard it. Did I lose a needle? Let's check. Yep. Oh well. I will find it later. And that, my friends, is why you should put your needles away. All right, the next one I worked on is the one I've kind of been focusing on wanting to get done. And I haven't done it super a lot since the last time I showed it, but we're getting there slowly but surely. And it is 100 Ways by Plum Street Samplery. And it's a Jane Austen quote from Sense and Sensibility. It's, I suppose there may be 100 different ways of being in love. And here is that. It's a beautiful pattern. So my goal right now is to finish this top section. Because once that's done, except for the faces, because they're all over one, the top section, and then once that's done, I can go on to the words, and the words will be quick. At least that's the theory method behind my madness right now. This is where it was last time I showed it to you guys. I actually kind of already went through and figured it out, but I haven't done a whole lot. I finished his pants, I finished his jacket, I did his walking stick, and I've done a little bit of the white. Basically worked in this bottom section right here. Unfortunately, I do have a stitch that's popped right there, so I need to go back and fix it. But it's definitely, guys, I'm loving this new camera. You can see stuff so well in the light. It's coming together. I really need to get that white all just busted out. Maybe I'll work on that later today. So it's just done, so I can move on to the lettering. Because I think what I'll do is I'll finish the white and then do the words and then kind of just go back and finish everything else. So that white is driving me insane. But once this one's done, I will probably move on to another Jane Austen piece. Because I have a couple. Like, there's one I don't have it fully kitted, but I have all the DMC because I have a full complete set of DMC. I have fabric for it. I've got the pattern for it. I just haven't started it yet. So I figure I will start this one, that one, when this one is done. And this, you guys, you got a blip of it in my last video. And I threw it in, like edited it in. But this is the project bag that I won from Kaylee Tent Stitch for the Stitch for Sage drawing. And it's absolutely gorgeous, guys. I've decided that this is going to be my working to finish project bag because it's got the vinyl in it, so it kind of gives me the incentive to work on it because I can see it. And look at this. Super cool, you guys. It is Gomez and Morticia. Like, nothing says couple goals to me more than Gomez and Morticia. Like, for real. I love it. Okay, the last whip that I have is my Pokemon project. I talked about this last time because I kind of realized that the way I was stitching it, the way I was parking my threads, it was kind of stressing me out, and it was making me not want to work on it because it gave me this, like, have to do it this way, and it just was exhausting. So what I decided to do is I went through and I finished off all of the parked threads that I had. So this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you guys, last time I talked about it, when I was talking about this last time. You can see I've got all the parked threads. So what I did is I went and I took each parked thread and went to the right where it was logical. I didn't want to travel like 10 inches to the right kind of thing because that's just a waste of floss. But so my fabric's like gridded, as you can see. So I kind of was like, and I'm just working in diagonals. So I was like, I could take it like 2 or 3 diagonals over, but I tried to finish within the first, the diagonal I was working on before I moved to the next diagonal. And there were a couple of part threads at the top that I worked up because working over didn't make any sense, and there was no colors that direction. So this is where I'm at now. Obligatory little showing of baby Bulbasaur because he's the cutest and the best. So as you can see, I worked up right through here, but you can tell that I'm still kind of focusing on this diagonal right here, the first one, while moving over to this one a bit when it was kind of made sense, and then even further to the next one. So how I'm going to do this from now on is I am going to pick a color, any color, and I'm going to do color completion with that strand of floss. And I'll focus on color completing within this diagonal. And once that's done, or if it makes more sense to hop over, I'll hop over. Once this diagonal is done, I will move over to this diagonal and work in the next one, and so on and so forth. But I'm not going to be parking anymore, I don't think, unless I'm like in the middle of working on it and run out of time. But I'm not going to be like parking 10, 15 different threads at once. And I feel like that'll give me more sanity with working on this project. I know so many people do this project so differently. Some people will color completely for the whole thing. That just seems like a lot for me. It feels a little overwhelming to do it that way. Some people will work on one Pokemon at a time. Some people will work by page. Wait, I mean, there's so many different ways to do these full coverage pieces, but I think what I'm just going to do now is single strand thread, length, single length, color completion, but still working in diagonals. but it's coming along. It's coming along. Little Bulbasaur. Little Bulbasaur. Umbreon. I got this one's name down now, guys. Cannot believe I forgot that the other time. It looks really good. I'm really excited about it. So I want to work on it again. Got dog hair all over it. But yeah, so that's the last whip that I've worked on in the last 3 weeks. I don't have any finished projects. However, you guys are gonna be shocked. You guys ready? I did fully finish something. Kind of crazy, right? It's not perfect by any means. There's no glass on it. And I just wrapped this project around the cardboard that was in this $4 Goodwill frame. But it's done, and I can give it to my mom because it was her Mother's Day present, and I haven't given it to her yet. But yeah, this is on just a 32 count natural Belfast linen with a mist-dye color and cotton floss that I got for cheap because it was a mist-dye. It's really pretty. Turned out really well. But yeah, I finally fully finished something. It's very exciting for me. So the last couple of days, the things I've been working on are my project bags. I've been making a bunch of project bags. So if you follow me on Instagram, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, I can't remember, it was a while back, I was working on my first project bag, and I broke the first needle on my sewing machine that I've ever broken in my entire life. Like, I'm talking like I've been sewing with my mom since I was little. I've never broken a sewing machine needle before. Like, I've had them get worn, I've had like broken the tips off, but I snapped this thing in half, right? Just snapped it. And then I couldn't find the little mini screwdriver they give you that releases the needles. And the screw that I have on my sewing machine was too small to do and too tight to use my hands. So I couldn't get the needle off, and I was pissed, like, done. So I put the bag in timeout for months, probably 6 weeks, a long time. And finally the other day, because I bought that kit to get the needle off. I already had no needles. Like, I had everything ready for this kit, for this bag, so I could finish it. And the other day I was like, you know what? This is fucking ridiculous. I just need to finish it. You guys, I mentioned this on my Instagram. I had 2 seams left. No, not even 2 full ones. 1.5 to be totally done with this bag. Because I broke it when I was sewing the sides. It hit the metal closure on the end of the zipper and just snapped. 2 seams to finish it. But, so this is that one. The one that ruined my life. But it turned out so good. I've had this Exploding TARDIS Starry Night style fabric in my stash since I was in Hawaii, which was, God, how long has it been? 5 years, 7 years? It's been a while since we moved away from Hawaii. But, so it's got the Exploding TARDIS on the bottom and the back with navy TARDIS blue on the top and then blue on the inside. And I've got my Doctor Who project in here. I haven't worked on this one in a while, but it's in there. And yeah, so I was really excited that I finally finished it. And it turned out so good, and I'm so happy. And I'm really excited about it. And so I went to the fabric store the other day. So I went to get some dye because I wanted to dye more fabric, and because I'll talk about that in plans. But they have all their Halloween material out. And you guys, it's pretty solid this year. Well, it's patterned, but you know what I mean. It's really good. It's good quality. It's really fun stuff. But so I went and I bought a bunch of Halloween fabric. So I made this one. It's sparkly, you can't really tell. Maybe a little bit, it is sparkly. And then I just did a cream on the top, and then I've got this little zipper pull. It's the snake. From Michael's, and I felt like it was perfect. Turned out really well. And then I also got this one, which is really cool. It's the skulls and the spiders and the like dark paisleys, and this material on top is sparkly too. For whatever reason, I did decide to do sparkly on the inside as well. Can't really tell, but this one, I don't know why, but this felt appropriate for me for this. Very dark academia feel. And it turned out really well. And I also have made a couple of grime guards. You saw one on my, what's it called? My Bitch I Love You project. That grime guard on that one is one I recently made. And I also made this one. It's pomegranates. And I will actually talk about, this is kind of what is going to lead into my little rant later when I'm done with everything else. But it's really pretty. It's for my nerd hoops. Made it special, made it myself. But those are all my like fully finished objects. I know they're not all stitching related, but they're all fiber art related. So, you know, same thing, same, but different, I guess. So the next thing I want to talk about is my plans. So there's a project that I started way back when I first started cross stitching again in September, because I've been cross stitching since I was like 8, but off and on I hadn't really been, it's been a while since I had stitched. And then in September I got back into it because I saw this project. Well, Facebook recommended a Facebook group for me, and this project was all I wrote, and I was like, I need to stitch that. So I started this project, went and bought fabric, didn't really do a whole lot of research about fabric or anything like that, because the last time I'd stitched, the whole like over dye fabric and over dye floss and all of that kind of stuff wasn't really super big. I mean, it was like almost 10 years ago. It's been a long time. But so I started the Haunted Library, and I started stitching it, and the staircase was fine, but then I stitched the skeleton and the candles, and I was like, this fabric isn't dark enough. I don't love it. This is just an 18 count oatmeal Aida, which is great fabric. It's nice and soft, but for this project, it's not right. And then I kept messing up, and it just became, so I just stopped stitching on it. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm restarting. I'm going to restart the Haunted Library. And it took me a long time to get to that decision, because it's a lot of stitches and time that I put into this already. And like, my stitching looks great. I'm gonna need to pick up more floss for it, blah, 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 blah. But I haven't worked on it. I haven't wanted to work on it because the fabric is just, it's not right to me. So I'm going to restart this. So if anybody wants my start of this on 18 count oatmeal Aida, I mean, if you want it, you're more than welcome to it. Just shoot me a comment underneath or message me on Instagram and let me know, and I'll send it to you. I'm not going to send floss or anything like that, but I will send you this. And if you want to, also get all the gridding out, because honestly, I don't think the gridding's accurate anyways, which is part of the reason I messed up so many times. But I can soak the grid out and send it to you. Just let me know. And if not, I'll probably just stash it away and kind of who knows what I'll end up doing with it. But the material that I decided to do, I actually just dyed this to like an hour. What time is it? An hour and a half ago. It's mostly dry. But this is what I'm going to do it on this time. So I just dyed this fabric myself and it's showing up. It's a little more true. It's really pretty. I did a really good job. But I feel like this will be way more, one, way more me, and two, you'll be able to see everything properly. I'm really excited with how it turned out. And this piece is exactly the size I'll need, even though it did shrink almost like an inch, which is, I didn't even think like weird, crazy to me. But yeah, so I will be restarting, I actually may restart it tonight, the Haunted Library on this. It's a 32 count Lugana, and I dyed it myself, and I'm excited. Okay, so we have another Love and Support Sal that's going to start on next weekend, on the 12th. That's next weekend, right? I think so. Next Saturday. It starts on the 12th. And it is for the Witchy Stitcher for Meg. She recently posted on her Instagram about the fact that she's fighting rare blood cancer. This situation hits a lot closer to home for me because it is, my sister is also battling, I think one or two different types of like incurable blood cancer and an autoimmune disease. And like my sister is fine, but I mean, she's not, but so seeing this, Witchy Stitcher's, Meg's post about this, and then the group of us that did the Stitch for Sage, Love and Support Sal. So I was like, let's do it again. And I immediately was like, yes. I wish that there was more we could do. I wish that there was more that we knew about these super, super rare forms of, especially like blood cancers. I mean, Meg mentioned that I can't even remember the number she used, but it was like less than a single person. Like I can't remember, I'll put the numbers that she posted down here. But I wish that there was more that could be done, and that, especially here, I don't know, I can't remember exactly where Meg is located, but in the United States, it's like being diagnosed with one of these forms of just autoimmune diseases or cancer or just these big deal health situations can put somebody into poverty. Like, so many people live their lives where one medical emergency, they could be homeless. And I'm not saying that's Meg's situation. I'm not even saying that's, I mean, I don't know what the point of that was, but it's just so frustrating that these wonderful people have to deal with all of this just bullshit because it's not, nothing's fair and blah, 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 but like, why? You know what I mean? But, sorry, got emotional there. We are, once again, doing a love and support sale. It's going to be #Stitchy for Witchy. And so it starts on the 12th. So go to the Witchy Stitchers store, thewitchystitcher.com. I'll put the link in the description box. And buy one pattern, buy a couple of patterns. I mean, her patterns are amazing. And just get ready, because we're starting the sale on the 12th. Stitchy for Witchy. And once again, Kaylee Tent Stitch is going to be making some project bags that she's going to be raffling off. So if you go to my Instagram, it'll be on there. And I will also put Kaylee Tent Stitch's Instagram and information down in the description box as well. She made a post. All you gotta do is comment on that post and you will be entered to win a project bag. The projects I chose are Salem Remembered, which is this one. And it lists all of the names of the witches they burned. They burned during the Salem Witch Trial. Actually, no. I read something that once that really, I think it was on a shirt somewhere random, and it said they didn't burn witches, they burned women. But really it should have been they didn't burn witches, they burned the marginalized. Because men were burned too. So it says Salem Remembered and has all of the names of the people they burned. And I also bought this one that says we are the granddaughters of the witches they could not burn. I think is what it says. You'll see. So what I'm considering doing is finding a way to like combine them into one. But I'm not sure if I can, it's going to look right. I might just do them separately. And maybe like on the same material and have them framed similarly or finished similarly or what have you. I haven't fully decided yet, but I've got a week. And so those are the two projects I'm doing. I also haven't decided on fabric. I'm considering dyeing my own, which will probably be easier than ordering it, just because ordering, you gotta pay for the material, you gotta pay for the shipping, you gotta wait. So I'll probably end up dyeing my own. I'm just not sure exactly what color yet. I'm leaning more gray, just because, I mean, I don't want to do black. Brown neutral is cool, but I think I want to do gray. I feel like that'll be the best vibe for me. But yeah, go support Meg. Go buy good lord. Go buy patterns from her shop. I will probably end up buying more just because there's so many on there that I want. But yeah, we'll get there. We're gonna show Meg some love because, I mean, she's fucking going through it right now, and just kind of reminding people that that are going through these kinds of things, that we are with them and we are behind them, even if we don't know them in real life, can really be helpful on those tough days. But yeah, so the next thing I need some advice on is I have a project that I've been wanting to do, and I bought the floss for it already a while ago. I just haven't found the right fabric for it yet. So it is the Crypto Naturalist, and this is what the pattern looks like. And so everywhere so it's going to have black and white, but everywhere that's purple on here, I am doing with this. Can you see that? Your face out of the way. It is Daydream. It's Dinky Dye Silk. It's really pretty. But I can't decide which fabric to use. I've got 3 options. The they're all on the neutral side, but different types of neutral. So I've got this 32 count Lugana. It is Stonehenge by Be Stitch Me. It's dark. So there's that one. It's relatively true. Or there is Milk and Honey by Fiber on a 40 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. I like that one's just kind of traditional. I feel like the white might get a little lost on that one. Or there is Ancient Cloister, which is a 32 count linen from, it is from my Dark Academia box from Starlight Stitchery. And kind of, there we go. But I feel like that might be a little too, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know, because I can't decide. Honestly, to me, all three of these would work, which is the problem. I can't decide. So let me know what you guys think. There is Ancient Cloister, which is the last one, the more green one. There is Milk and Honey, which is just the very light neutral. And then there is Stonehenge, which is the dark one from Be Stitch Me. Let me know what you think. I haven't decided yet. I really want to start that project. I really think it's going to be cool. But so yeah, that's all my plans. So that's really all the stitching. I've got acquisition next. So if you don't want to listen to all the stuff, the new stuff that I have, you can be done and have a wonderful day. And I hope everyone enjoyed listening to me ramble. But if you do want to hear about my acquisitions, let's get to it. So I mentioned I dyed that black material. It's an 18 count Aida from a giant roll that I've had that I got for cheap. And it's, the only downside to this giant roll of Aida is it's starchy Aida. Like it's like crunchy. But it turned out really well, the dyeing process. Like I said, I obviously already cut a chunk out, but it dyed up really well. I like how the modeling turned out. Very happy with it. I can see through the material, so I'm kind of getting by. But it turned out really well. I'm really happy with how it, all of that. So now I've got a decent amount of black, because I did an entire fat quarter of it. So now I've got a decent amount of black Aida to use when I need to use it. The next things are my fabric of the month. And so I mentioned on my, my voice just got weird. I mentioned on my last video that I was having to pull back on some of my subscriptions. And that the only one I was going to maintain was my Fox and Rabbit, because it was a year-long commitment. And then Michelle reached out, Bendy Stitchy, and was like, why don't we go halfsies? And I was like, I am in love with you. That's a wonderful idea. And the fact that you would offer is just amazing. So what we're doing is, because she gets the Be Stitch Me fabric of the month and in the 32 count Lugana, and I get the Garn Toten Bags Fox and Rabbit fabric of the month in 18 count Aida. So we're getting them, cutting them in half, and sending them to each other. So, which is great. She's a fabric buddy now, which I love. So this is the Fox and Rabbit. It's hog bristle. And I really am enjoying this Fox and Rabbit Aida colors that I'm getting, because they are like modeled, but like barely. You can tell that they're hand dyed kind of thing. It's a really pretty color. It's just a nice taupey, creamy neutral, which I really enjoy. And then the one from Be Stitch Me that Michelle sent to me. Come on. Sorry about the crinkle. irritates me too, is called, what's it called? Lightly salted, not roasted. Whereas I keep wanting to read lightly salty, which kind of mood, right? It's, I mean, it's kind of got a, again, it's a neutral, obviously, but it's kind of like a peachy, orangey-ness to it. So I can't really capture that, but it's really pretty. So yeah, we're basically each getting a fat eighth of each, which is, I mean, great. I'm really excited about it. And I love it. I love that she was willing to offer that to me. It's just another example of how amazing this community is and how great the people that I have met in the little corner of the cross stitch community that we occupy, how great it is, because we really just are here to love and support each other. I also went to the, what was it called? Acorns and Threads sidewalk sale last weekend. And I bought some stuff. Odds. I got, so I've never tried Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers before. And so I bought some. I bought a bunch of it. So Danielle, her and Michelle, Benny Stitchy, shared a table, and Danielle had a bunch of, sorry, I think I mispronounced Danielle. I'm sorry. I really apologize. Just, I could even be using the wrong name, honestly. Like in my brain, I'm like, I think it's Danielle, but I could be wrong because I'm absolutely crap with names. So, one, if I'm using the wrong name, I apologize. Two, if I mispronounced you, I also apologized. But I bought a bunch of Fiberlicious Yummy Fiber floss from them. So they had a bunch of variegated floss that they were like, they love variegated floss, but so they buy it and then they never use it because they never know what to use it for. But look at all these pretty, hold on, just kidding. Let's do one at a time. I'm gonna be able to see these very well. There we go. Freaking face out of the way. Nope, it's not gonna work, guys. They're beautiful. You just can't. This one's called Lavender Storm. It's got greens and purples. There we go. And pinks. And then this one is called Hummingbird. It's got pinks and greens and a little bit of gray. And this one is called Unicorn Dreams. Orange, purple, pink, peachy colors. And then this one is, nope, we'll do that one last because the name of that one always kind of makes me giggle. This one is Poppy Field. Very pretty. This one is A Dance of Autumn. I really like this one. Blacks and reds and pinks. And this one is called Berry Delight. But I'm still knowing that that's what it is called. Every time I see the name of this thread, I read it as Booty Delight, first of all. Can we see that? Okay, I'm not crazy, I promise. But this is the floss. Blues and pinks and purpley colors where they meet. Really pretty. And then, so those are all cottons. I also, they had 2 skeins of this, the Fiberlicious hand-dyed silks as well in the same color, and it's called Make a Wish. And I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but again, I'm excited. And so that's all the floss I got from them. And then from Michelle, I don't know what color this is, but it is a 40 count Verdal. And it is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a little more pink in it than it's showing on the screen. That's kind of more true right there. But it's really pretty. I don't know what I'll use it for. It's super, super, super soft material though. I'm sure it'll end up being something gorgeous. But I got the fabric from Michelle. And I also got this amazing project bag from Michelle. Look at this one. Look at all these silly animals. Look at this pig and the cow and the other pig and the sheep. Like, come on, you guys. This is freaking fantastic. And it's got a vinyl front and it has a little, come on. It's a cow. Super cute little thing. I don't know what project I'm going to put in here yet, but I'm excited to put something in here. So that's all I got from the garage sale. Then I went inside, obviously, and because I was wanting to dye more fabric after I dyed the black stuff, and so what I was kind of just seeing what they had, looking at fabric, and I mean, acorns and threads. You wander and you look at everything, but I saw that they had 2 half yards of white. So this is an actual white, and it is a 32 count Lugana. And it's just white 32 count Lugana, but I also got a 28 count antique white Lugana as well. So this is what I used to dye the fabric for starting the Haunted Library over. This one will be fun to figure some stuff out too. And I'm really excited to dye more fabric. I wish that they had smaller counts in the white, but that's fine. I can order some of that once I kind of decide whether or not this is something I'm gonna want to do on a regular basis. But I also got a pattern. So I was wandering around looking at fabric and stuff, and if you know Acorns, they've got the fabric table, and then they've got that shelf next to the fabric table across from the cash register where they have all the buckets with all the patterns on it. But this pattern was just sitting on top. And I'm obsessed with donuts. Like, if I had to choose any pastry and I could only ever have one type of pastry for the rest of my life or forever, it would be donuts. Like, I love donuts. I'm obsessed with donuts. I have gym shirts that says, my head says gym, my heart says donuts. Like, I've got lifting sleeves, like knee sleeves for help protect my knees when I do heavy squats and stuff that have donuts on them. Like, your girl's obsessed with donuts, but look at this pattern. I'm like, yo, you guys, it's gorgeous. I'll probably change the color of the toppings. I probably will do probably a purple and then do this one like a maple, because I'm like chocolate frosting donuts. Sue me. But I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so that's all the stuff that I purchased. And then last time I talked about doing a stitch kit pass for the Quirky Quaker skeleton. And I did it. I had several people say that they would be interested in that. And I did the drawing, and Julie Pandore, I'm not exactly sure how to say your last name. You live in France though, which, I mean, I'd love to go back to France. So Julie, you won. So let me know. You can message me on Instagram all of my contacts will be in the description box. You can message me on Instagram, or you can email me, but contact me and let me know whether you would like your piece of fabric that I send with this to be an even weave / linen or an Aida. I mean, I can do either, so just let me know what you prefer and I will get this sent out to you all the way over in France. So yeah, I was gonna rant about some stuff, but actually no, I am gonna rant about some stuff. I don't have any books to talk about, but I do have some, I guess, myths. They're not books, but I have something that I don't know why I was sewing this and I was thinking about it, but y'all, can we stop with the Hades and Persephone love story retellings? For the love of God, can we stop? That was not a love story, okay? I don't know how many of you actually know the real myth, the original myth of Hades and Persephone, but Persephone was pretty much a sex trafficking victim, guys. Hades saw her and was like, Zeus, who's her dad, I'm in love with her, help me kidnap her. And he's like, cool. And so she was kidnapped, taken to the underworld, and tricked into eating the seeds of the pomegranate, and then was forced to stay in the underworld for the rest of her life. I mean, yes, there's more to it. Yes, there was a deal that was made, so she comes up and that's why there's spring, and when she has to go back down to the underworld, that's why there's winter. But it's not a freaking love story, you guys. Between Hades and Persephone and the Beauty and the Beast, if we're having to make a real decision of which one is Stockholm Syndrome, it's Hades and Persephone, guys. She did not choose to be there. She was forced to stay, and she fell in love with him eventually, like eons later, because she had to make the best of a bad situation. It's not a love story, okay? I know we like to romanticize things, but Hades and Persephone, not a love story. She was a victim, and I will die on that hill. But on that note, I am gonna have to sign off. My battery is about to die on my camera. I really should have thought to charge it before I started, but it's fine. I really like this new camera, and I will see you guys hopefully in, I think 3 weeks is a good time stretch for me. So I'm probably just gonna try and do every 3 weeks, start scheduling it in. But I will see you guys in 3 weeks, and I hope everyone has the best morning, day, afternoon, evening, whatever it is available to them. And I love you guys so much. Bye! Where's my bin?